Sit comfortable in a seated posture with your legs in lotus or crisscross applesauce. You can also sit on top of a block. Let's start with one Om. Okay, we're going to come on forward onto our hands and extend through, press back into downward facing dog. Come in onto a high plank, slowly lower down, upward facing dog. Back into downward facing dog. Let's lunge our left leg forward. Keep that back knee down. Now this is optional. If you want to, reach back and grab onto that foot. This is going to really open up that hip flexor. Now we're going to turn this into a twist. So optional, you can stay here. And then when we twist, you can either stay up on your hand, or you can place your hand on a block, or you can come on down to your forearm. And if you're feeling really open, then you can come all the way down onto your arm. Again, this is going to depend on your accessibility today and your range of motion. Okay, now moving into pigeon, opening up the hips a little bit more. We're going to move back forward and take the left leg across the mat. Now you can flex that foot, open up through the chest, get some length in the spine, and start to walk your hands forward. Again, if you're going to prop up your hip, you'd put that block right underneath your left hip, as I'm demonstrating right now. So lift the hips up, square them off, prop up the block underneath your left hip and the bent leg, and then fold forward. You can also take blocks or a blanket underneath your arms to give you a little more added support. And then let's go back into that Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi pranayama, inhaling nice and deep. And exhaling, closing off the back of your throat, like the sound of the ocean. Again, inhale and exhale. Just try to find that nice edge. Okay, so now we're going to slowly come on out of pigeon. So you can walk up onto your forearms nice and slowly, start to lift your chest up, sweep your back leg around to the front, and pull your knees in towards your chest, extend your legs out if that feels appropriate today. This is a boat pose variation, and then you're going to bend your knees, grab onto your big toes in a yogic toe lock. Or you're welcome to stay here with bent legs and hold on to the back of your legs. The goal is to bring your chest towards your thighs and your thighs towards your chest. Open up through the backs of your legs. Okay, soften the legs. Bring the soles of your feet together and your legs splay across the room, coming into bound angle pose. Depending upon how you get there and where you go is up to you. You can prop up blocks underneath your knees, under your hips, in front of you. Again, you don't want to be in pain. You want to feel a nice edge, someplace between boredom and anxiety. It should feel good. It might be challenging, and you might need to breathe through it, but it should feel good. Okay, so let's start to transition out of this. Slowly press on up. And we are going to open up the other hip. So we're going to step back into a high plank and gently lower down low plank. You can, if you'd like to, skip the vinyasa and just meet us in downward facing dog. Now we're going to step your right leg forward and hold this for just a little bit. Drop the back knee down, open your chest. Try to bring your chest right through your arms. Now for this variation, I'm going to stay up. Just to show you a variation, you can come down onto your forearm if you'd like, or you can stay up on your arm like I'm demonstrating right now. You can also take a strap and reach it around your foot if you prefer, and hold on to that strap. So that's another option. So if you're familiar with your ujjayi breathing, then please integrate it into your practice. Don't forget about that during the poses and transitioning in and out of the poses also. So let's start to move into pigeon on the right side. Again, propping up this hip if necessary, right underneath the right hip. And lift through the heart. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly lower yourself down into the earth. Tune into the breath. Ride the breath like a wave. Inhaling right at the tip. And then exhale gently. Let it go. Try to stretch the breath out just a little bit longer, especially on the exhalation. Sounds like the sound of the ocean. All right, let's slowly come on out of this. Come on up, swing the back leg around. And this time I want you to bring the soles of your feet together, but push them away arm's length. And then bring your forehead towards your feet. And this is a delicious pose to stay in for quite a bit if you have the time. It's an excellent yin posture. We're not going to stay here that long, but you can use your blocks underneath both knees, underneath your hips, underneath your forehead. So, you know, this is kind of a dress rehearsal when you go through this sequence the first time. Each time you can use the blocks differently depending upon how your body's feeling that day. I like to describe our practice like a buffet. You can go up and get what you need. Okay, coming on up now, let's bring our knees in towards your chest, grab onto your toes or the backs of your legs, and just play with the extension of your legs, just for a little bit. Extending one leg, extending both legs, coming into bow again, and then slowly lower the legs down using the core, just lower just a tiny bit, and then lift them up towards your chest. And again, lower and lift, lower, and come onto your back. Good, and let out a nice sigh. Oh, and let's do some back bending. Okay, so back bending invigorates the body. You're going to press your feet into the floor, coming into a nice bridge. First, drop your hips a tiny bit and tuck the tail under, and then lift the hips up, 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 up. You can reach your fingertips towards your feet. You can actually grab onto your ankles if you'd like, or you can bind your hands together into a fist and roll onto the outside edge of your shoulders. Lift the chest up, 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 up. Okay, now moving on, you're going to prop your hands by your ears as if you're coming into wheel, but we're not going into wheel just yet. So lift the hips up. This opens up the arms a little differently, so it's a nice variation to do whether or not you intend on going to wheel or not. And if you want to go into wheel, then drop the hips down. Take a breath, and when you're ready, come on up into wheel. Now, if you'd like to, stay in bridge, or if you want a more restorative posture, I like to take the blocks underneath my hips and stay in bridge. So depending upon what you are feeling today, come on up and breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. And then when you're ready, come on down. Okay. So once we come down, we are going to move into another wheel and then one more back bend. So this wheel, if you want to, you can do your wheel push-ups. So come on up and then just bend the elbows, just like you would in more of a, it's more like a tricep dip because you're upside down. And then come back down, and we're going to squeeze the knees in towards your chest and rock and roll on the spine. And just so you know where we're going, we are going to float over into a high plank and lower down onto our abdomen. So we can go into one more back bend. We're going to go into bow pose. So when you come on down, come onto your stomach. If you want to go through a vinyasa, that's great. You can always skip a vinyasa. And then bend your knees, reach back for your ankles. Lift the heart up. Keep kicking and lifting, kicking and lifting. Okay, let's do a lion's breath, okay? I love this. Inhale, and then open your mouth, let out a nice exhale and a huge roar. I think I scared my cat. Again, inhale and exhale. Come on down. Wiggle out the hips if you need to. Okay, let's lie on your back now. So you can go through a vinyasa, or you can just fold your legs underneath you. Just end up on your back somehow. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together and splay our knees across the room into Supta Baddha Konasana. Now, just stay here for a moment, and then we're moving on into Happy Baby. So squeeze your knees in towards your chest, grab onto the soles of your feet, either the inner arches or the outer arches, or you can hold your feet in a yogic toe lock. Whatever's most comfortable. So lengthen through the spine, and at the same time bring those knees down towards the earth, almost like you're creating a tripod, pressing and lengthening. Nice big Ujjayi breath. Okay, now we're moving up and over into plow pose, halasana, and we're going to do a variation one leg at a time. So lift your hips up and over, prop your block underneath your hips if you'd like to for this inversion, and you can just lift one leg up at a time. So it's just so good to come upside down in any capacity. So if you don't want to lift your hips up and over, you're always welcome to just prop the block up underneath your hips and lift your legs up into the sky. So play with this, keep extending one leg and then the other. If you want to, you can lift both legs up at the same time. And you can stay in plow, reach through the backs of the legs, and let's slowly lower the hips into the earth. Now we are going to do a little bit more core. So you're going to lower the legs down, and you want to keep the length through the lower back. And resist the urge to pad your hips here, because I want you to build some strength and length in the lower back. And when you pad your hips, you're taking your back out of this. So just don't go down too far if you're feeling it in your lower back, especially if you feel that overarching in your lower back. Lower the legs, lower the legs, lower the legs. And then nice exhale, return the legs up. Lower the legs, lower the legs, lower the legs. And then nice exhale, return the legs up. Inhale, lower, 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 and hold. Now open and close the legs. Open and close, open and close, open and close. Continue with the breath. And then lift the legs up towards the sky. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Give them a nice hug. Okay, moving into a twist. You're going to cross your right leg over your left and twist your legs towards your left. And then if you'd like to, gaze over your right shoulder. Come back through to center and let's change sides. If you don't like the eagle legs, you are more than welcome to. Just keep your legs stacked one on top of the other. Any variation that feels comfortable for you. Okay, moving into Shavasana. Soften and control the breath. Inhale and exhale, and just start to let go. And this is the time to empty out your mind. No interruptions. Let your body absorb your practice. And now it's your time to empty the mind. So we're going to start to deepen our breath, wiggle our fingertips and our toes. Try to find some movement in your body. And then when you're ready, guide your knees in towards your chest, roll yourself up into a ball, come on over onto your right side and press up to a seated posture. We'll end our practice with the sound of Om, 3 ohms. Om Shanti 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 Namaste. Shanti Shanti Namaste. Okay, Batch, move out of the way. I gotta finish.